On the 12th of January 2026, crews broke ground on a 476-acre former brickworks just north of Bedford. The site had sat quiet for decades, with old clay pits and scrubland, 50 miles from central London. Now it belongs to Universal. The first Universal theme park in Europe in over 20 years is coming to Britain, and the ground has not even settled yet. That same spring, Alton Towers, the closest thing this country has to a flagship park, opened its new season and posted replacement bus services for a broken monorail. One company pouring billions into British soil, the other asking guests to walk. Nobody needed to say it out loud. Something fundamental is about to change in the British theme park industry, and to understand just how much you need to see what is actually rising out of that Bedfordshire clay. The numbers behind Universal's Bedfordshire project are impossible to ignore. The site stretches across 476 acres of old brickworks and scrubland, officially transferred to Universal Studios Limited in December 2023. That's nearly twice the size of Alton Towers' developed area, enough land to fit every major UK park inside its borders with room to spare. The location, 50 miles north-northwest of London, was chosen for its direct access to the A6 and the East Coast Main Line, setting the stage for a resort that isn't just a day trip destination but a national draw. Construction began on January 12, 2026, after the council granted outline planning permission and a special development order cleared the way. The 5-year build is targeting a 2031 opening. On day 1, the resort will open with a single park, a 500-room hotel, and a new retail precinct. Universal's own projections put first-year attendance at 8.5 million paid visits, a figure that would instantly make it Britain's busiest paid attraction, ahead of even the British Museum or the Tower of London. For context, Alton Towers, the current attendance leader among UK theme parks, brings in about 2.4 million guests a year. This is Universal's first European theme park project since selling its stake in Spain's Portaventura back in 2004. The company is pouring billions into the site, betting that the United Kingdom can sustain a world-class resort on a scale the country hasn't seen before. The numbers aren't just big, they're disruptive. They set a new benchmark for what's possible, and every operator in the country will be watching closely to see if Universal can actually deliver on these promises. The clay under Bedfordshire is about to play host to something the United Kingdom leisure market has never truly seen, an international mega resort built from the ground up, with expectations as vast as its footprint. Universal's Bedfordshire project is not a carbon copy of Orlando, and it was never intended to be. The first phase is deliberately focused: a single theme park, a hotel with 500 rooms, and a retail precinct. That is the launch pad, not the finished article. Unlike Florida, where the resort ecosystem sprawled over decades, Bedford opens as a flagship, not a finished city. Universal was betting on a phased master plan, one that leaves room, literally and figuratively, for future expansion. The company has already set aside land for a water park and additional hotels, but those will only follow once the initial park and hotel prove their worth in the British market. A key promise is the dedicated Bedford Resort Railway Station, slated to plug the park directly into the East Coast Main Line. That is not just a nod to convenience, it is a recognition that British visitors are far more likely to arrive by train than by car, and that the day trip culture here is a world apart from the week-long Orlando holiday. The station is written into the Section 106 agreement, with steep penalties if it is not delivered on schedule. This is Universal adapting to local realities, not just importing an American template. So, while the numbers are huge, the approach is measured. The first phase is about testing the market, building operational know-how, and earning the right to expand. It is a long game, with placeholders for future lands and hotels. For UK park fans, that means excitement and patience go hand in hand. Universal is coming, but what is opening in 2031 is just the beginning, not the end of the story. Alton Towers, long the heavyweight of British theme parks, now finds its dominance threatened. With annual attendance near 2.4 million, Alton's draw has always relied on its ability to attract both thrill seekers and families from across the UK. Yet the park's greatest asset, its vast Staffordshire estate, has become a constraint. Planning covenants strictly cap new rides below the tree line, halting major projects like the delayed Project Horizon coaster. This tree line is not just a rural oddity, it is a hard ceiling on ambition, limiting Alton's skyline and stalling future growth. Universal, by contrast, faces no such limits. With a blank slate, it can outbuild and outshine, raising the stakes for everyone. Thorpe Park, just outside London, draws 1.8 million visitors a year, mostly young, urban and day tripping. Its compact site cannot rival Universal for scale, but its proximity to the capital and its reputation for high adrenaline rides keep it agile. If Universal debuts a headline coaster, Thorpe's core audience may waver, but its identity as the UK's extreme park offers some protection. Chessington World of Adventures and Legoland Windsor play to their strengths. Chessington's mix of zoo attractions and family rides brings in 1.4 million guests, while Legoland, with over 2 million annual visitors, dominates the under-10 market. Universal's arrival could tempt some families, but both parks' strong brands and family focus insulate them. Alton, with its ageing portfolio and planning hurdles, stands most exposed. Merlin Entertainments, the company behind Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, Chessington and Legoland Windsor, faces a reckoning it has not seen in decades. For years, Merlin's strategy has been defined by careful, incremental investment, refurbishing classics, adding IP-driven rides in measured bursts, and relying on a sprawling network of attractions to keep the tills ringing. In 2025, Merlin posted £1.78 billion in revenue, with steady growth in accommodation bookings and a comfortable grip on about 32% of UK theme park admissions. But Universal's arrival in Bedfordshire changes the calculus overnight. The company's defensive toolkit is formidable. Merlin can draw on deep pockets, a robust pipeline of new attractions, and a knack for striking licensing deals that keep its parks current. Already the response is visible: a Bluey coaster at Alton Towers, PW Patrol at Chessington, and a Minecraft attraction in the works for 2027. These are not just crowd pleasers, they are calculated moves to shore up each park's core audience and blunt Universal's appeal. Merlin's 2026 press release spells it out. The focus is on strengthening family entertainment and expanding themed accommodation, aiming to turn day trippers into overnight guests and keep spend within the Merlin portfolio. Yet the scale of Universal's Bedfordshire project, 8.5 million projected visitors, a 500-room hotel, a purpose-built rail station, forces Merlin to think bigger than it has in years. The incremental model that serves so well in a market without true mega-brand competition now looks exposed. To thrive in a 2031 landscape, Merlin must balance its tradition of steady, risk-averse growth with the need for bold investment. The old playbook, refurbish, rebrand, repeat, may not be enough when the competition is building at a scale Britain has never seen. The next decade will test whether Merlin can evolve from the safe pair of hands to a genuine innovator in the face of a world-class rival. No matter how much money Universal pours into Bedfordshire, some obstacles simply aren't negotiable. The UK's planning system is famous for its scrutiny, and even with outline permission in hand, every new phase, whether it's a water park or extra hotels, will need fresh applications and public consultations. That means local objections and environmental reviews could add months, even years to the timeline. The Section 106 agreement doesn't just demand a new railway station and road upgrades, it enforces them. If Universal misses a key deadline, the penalty is steep: £2 million for every month the station runs late. That is a financial hit few operators would risk, but it is a hard reality of building in Britain. Labour costs are another wild card. Since 2022, wages for skilled construction workers in the east of England have climbed 13% above the national average, squeezed by a shortage of trades and post-Brexit hiring rules. Every rainy week adds to the bill, and the British climate is not exactly famous for its predictability. On a major site like this, a wet spring or a winter freeze can stall progress and rack up costs fast. Universal can control the design, but it can't control the weather, or the costs of keeping thousands of workers on site through a soggy season. The reality of British spending habits stands as the sharpest test for Universal's ambitions. Even the most dazzling park can stumble if the ticket price misreads the national mood. In a country where the average adult ticket at Alton Towers hovers around £70, Whispers of a Universal Day Pass topping £100 have already stirred anxiety. The cost of living crisis has left families weighing every big day out, and the UK tradition of day tripping means few are eager to splash out on multi-day resort packages. Visitor surveys from 2024 show that nearly 70% of British theme park guests visit for a single day and spend less than £40 on extras. Universal's own projections hinge on attracting 8.5 million paid visits in year one, yet that target will only be reachable if the pricing feels fair, especially with Merlin's parks offering frequent discounts and bundled deals. A tiered ticket model with off-peak rates and flexible add-ons may be the only way to bridge the gap between American-style resort pricing and British pocketbooks. In the end, the silent stakeholder in Universal's grand plan is the British guest, whose loyalty must be earned not just with spectacle, but with value that feels real. Right now, blueprints are becoming concrete, and the British theme park map is being redrawn in real time. Universal's gamble could spark the boldest era in UK attractions, or it could expose how much rides like Nemesis and Stealth already mean. This is more than a resort, it is a reckoning. What do you think?